Hello IP4 and welcome back. For any new students, I am teacher Patricia and I'll be teaching you, helping you, guiding you through art. So for this unit, we look at techniques and methods creating the illusion of space and form. So in art, we have 7 elements. The line, the mark made to travel from point A to point B, creates an outline. Shape, when a line meets up to make a closed space, it can be geometric or organic. Organic just means not a regular shape. Shape can also relate to composition, the placement of where things are in the picture. Form, adding depth to the shape, making it three-dimensional or appearing to be three-dimensional. So that could be an actual sculpture or model, or a drawing that looked like it's coming off the page. Space is the area between, around, or in an object. So maybe you have 2 objects, so we have the space in the middle, we have the space around it, or maybe we have 2 objects like this. So do we want the space in between them? But also we have a space inside the object. Texture, how an object feels or appears to feel. So again, you can always stick on materials, you can always create different types of actual touchable texture on a painting, or you can use skills and techniques of drawing to create the look of a texture. Value, how light or dark something is, and often works on a gradient scale. And colour, also known as hue. There are multiple variations of one colour. We look at saturation, intensity, and how colour can affect or change the mood of a piece of art. Why do we learn about the 7 elements of art? Simply to make our art better. To make it easier for other people to understand what we are trying to show them. If you feel your art is missing something or not quite right, it is often related to one of these 7 elements. So some people focus on some elements more than others. That gives them the look, the feel they want. Some people focus on trying to figure out all of them. This often leads to more realism or photorealism look. It really does depend what you're going for. Like an illustrator compared to an animator, compared to a fine artist. They all use the same skills, but some of them are more focused on those different elements than others. Okay, so we've already started looking at some of these elements. Line and shape, we looked at this when you were in IP2. We looked at the different types of lines, shapes, and putting them all together to make abstract art. We also looked at continuous line when using IP3. For form and value, we started to look at briefly when we looked at light and shadows. And now, in IP4, we look at and practice form, space, texture, and the use of colour. Okay, so each grade, we try and add a little bit more to our skills and our knowledge. So please grab your worksheets, ruler, okay? So you're going to need a pencil, eraser, a ruler, and your worksheet. Okay, I'm going to change my camera angle. I'm back with you shortly. Okay, so yes, I know this is backwards for you. Don't worry about it. So please make sure you put your nickname on your paper. Okay, so 1, The first one we have is linear perspective. So this is pretty much the same as 1-point perspective. So please use a ruler or a straight edge. I don't want to see any wobbly lines. And thinking about our rule of thirds, that's 1/3 and 2/3. Okay? So we're going to take our 2/3, or from the bottom, 1/3 from the top, my horizon line, and try and make it straight, my vanishing point, and then from here we're going to do a pathway or a road. So we're going to make another line here. You don't want to go to the corner, you want to bring it in from the corner, you don't want to be too close, and I'm going to make that equal-ish on the other side. And like when we said 1-point perspective, kind of like imagine you're on a long, straight, flat road looking into the distance. Okay? So when you draw the objects going along here, things will look like they're going further away. Okay, so the next one we have overlapping. Alright, so you can draw around an object if you like. I am going to choose to draw around that's too big. Okay, so I'm just going to draw some circles. So we got the one. Overlapping just means there are other things hiding behind that first shape. Oh my gosh, can't make any straight lines these days. So you want to make sure you have all the sides in that you could see, and we are making some overlapping. So it gives the impression that there is more space behind our first object. Okay? Also, I haven't put it in one of these boxes. Another technique, especially when you're using something like overlapping, if you use a thick or thicker line, okay, so if you have your main object from the foreground, or the main object at the front is going to have a thicker line, the other, this how it brings it forward, and you push the others back, giving more space. And the next one we have size. So this follows the idea of the linear perspective. You would often be having something that is large. You'll often have something that is medium in a picture. You'll often have something that is small in a picture and maybe tiny. So in a picture, if you have everything the same size, that means they're all on one level. There's nobody in the background, in the distance. There's nobody closer. They're all on the same level. So we use size to help us show that things may be coming closer to us or coming further back when we use it with some of these other techniques. Find the right place. There we go. Placement. Okay, so this is often with size. Okay? Like I said, I'm just going to do two. You can choose one. Okay, so watch. Are you going to do option number 1 for placement? Like I said, you have your bigger things at the front. We have our medium things in the middle. And we have our smaller things in the distance with the tiny one all the way back there. Okay? So that is option 1. bigger something is, the closer it is to you. Option 2, replacement, is where you put your shadows. So if I put a shadow like this compared to a shadow like this, this has now changed our placement to have them a little bit more floaty up in the air. Yeah. Okay, so value and color. So this again thinks about distance. So I'm just going to draw in some gentle slopes. Okay, and so the idea is this being the furthest away is our lightest. This coming a little bit closer is a little bit darker. So the next one is a little bit darker. And guess what? It's a little bit darker. So one that is closest to us is going to be the darkest value. Okay, and the last one we're going to look on here is detail. So for my example, I'm going to draw my horizon line again, not very straight. I'm going to draw some rocks that are standing up. Light is small. A little bit darker. Also has a little bit more detail. And then my last one, I'm going to draw my biggest standing rock. Right at the front here, I'm going to draw some grass in there. I'm going to try, not often I do try to do rock faces. I don't know why I've chosen to do rock faces. I don't know, that's one thing. Every now and again I try and do things I don't usually do, try and make myself better. It has the darkest shadow than those other two rocks that I've tried to do. You have a bit more, you'll see the details a little bit better. Okay, I think you kind of get the idea. You know, it's not to be a complete finished drawing, it's just to show you differences in detail. So right at the back, you can't really see much about it. Coming forward a little bit, it's the middle ground. We can start to see a little more what it might be coming to the foreground. It's right at the front. We have a little bit more detail of my weird stone thing. Okay, so please complete your version of these techniques. You do not have to draw exactly the same as long as you are showing me. I'm going to bring a Wally table. Show me the ideas that you understand what we are saying here. Okay, so I have gone through some of my sketchbooks and tried to find things as an example to what we've just spoken about. So for example, this one, a bit more of that. Okay, so this painting, we can see we have very dark in the foreground, we have some details, and it fades and gets less detailed the more we go to the back. Okay, so this is like the same as the values and colour and the detail. Okay, and we have this painting. So we can see the road is coming to the point of here. We can see the buildings, can't see the top of the building, there we go, coming to the point of here also. Yeah, so we have a linear perspective. So my point, I think with this red mark, I've gone to my 4 corners and have things come in both ways for my linear perspective. And this one is not mine. This one I did buy by this artist. And again, showing you a pretty good, not complete detail, but it's more detail compared to here. We have darker values and colour. We have lighter values and colour. And we are travelling to this horizon line. Okay, let's see what else we can show you. So we have overlapping. Okay, so we have overlapping, creating more space. We have the placement with shadows. So it looks like the violin is a little bit away from the wall with shadows. Again, some placement, overlapping. Some values, trying to bring things forward and pushing things back. You can find any other different ones that I pulled out. And crowding, overlapping. Another still life with your values and overlapping. Again, going from the dark, going linear perspective. Crowding, overlapping, using space. The main ones I have to show you to help show this. So please do this. Each lesson we're going to use some of these techniques and put them into practice. So for next lesson you will need a ruler, pencil, eraser and some colours, and we are going to either maybe try a simple linear perspective or something a little bit more complicated. I have not decided yet. Okay, good luck. Have some fun. Nice easy one this lesson. Look forward to seeing what you have and catch you on the next one.